And this happens in bubbles. I've now studied, since these bubbles came, all bubbles in history. Bubbles basically go back to where they started. They bubble up way beyond the fundamentals, crazy, and then they go back to where they started. That is 3250 to 4300 on Bitcoin. That's where it should go. Then you buy, because it could go, literally, the projections also tracking the dot-com bubble before the real boom. Bitcoin could go to 500,000 to 1 million. My actual target right now today is the next boom will take it to a peak of 780,000.
Harry S. Dent Jr. is a best-selling author and one of the most outspoken financial editors in America. Using proprietary research, Harry developed a unique method for studying economies around the world and uses his analysis to provide insights on what to expect in the future. Instead of focusing on endless graphs that assume people behave rationally, Harry instead looks at real people, making real economic decisions for themselves and their families. He combines demographics with actual spending to inform his research. Harry Dent returns with his bearish stance on the global market. He mentions that there have been a lot of bubbles, and right now we are in a bubble that would soon burst. He made references to the housing bubble, which is currently busted, and advised that this is not a good time to buy any housing. He also talks about the stock market and how the Fed has always fought the bubbles it created. He added that stocks will crash, and there's nothing anyone, even the Fed, can do about this. However, what is even more interesting about this crash is that it would be similar to the dot-com crash, which started as a massive bubble, and then the crashes happened and sent so many companies packing. Harry also reaffirms his bullish stance on Bitcoin, stating that he sees Bitcoin hitting a high of $780,000. While that may be one of the highest predictions for Bitcoin in present times, Harry did not mention at what particular time this price would be achieved. However, he mentioned that Bitcoin is yet to retest the lows, which would be the perfect buy opportunity before the Bitcoin boom starts again, which would continue for a very long time once it starts. We will now get into the video where Harry Dent explains the reason behind his bearish stance on the market and his selected top stocks to buy. As you enjoy the video, please ensure to like the video, subscribe, and make sure to leave your comments below. Enjoy the video.
Bitcoin is ahead of stocks and will probably bottom before stocks, maybe late in 2023, where stocks might be mid 2024, because it's kind of the leading sector. It goes up more, it goes down more. It's already been down 70% when stocks were down 34 to 38 on the NASDAQ and 25 to 27 on the S&P. I am predicting that, and I'm just following the same bubbles in Amazon and .coms. I'm telling you the same exact proportions. The bubble and the burst in the .coms is now 22 years later, that crypto will bottom around its late 2018, early 2019 lows around 3,250 to 4,000. So it's still, even at 16,000, down 70%, it will be down 95% if we do the same thing we did with the .coms. So it's not time to buy crypto later, but I also advise crypto is the next big thing. The dot-coms were the next big thing emerging in the late 90s in that bubble. They were small. That's a shakeout, which is necessary, Dan. This is a good thing. You have tons of new entrants, and then you shake them out to the ones that are really strong and have their stuff together. That's what the shakeout's for. That's what happened, back in 2000, 2002. And then you see the real boom, okay? So the best companies will survive. We have 40,000 coins by some count. This is ridiculous. All they are is cheap IPOs. Coins are cheap IPOs. The blockchain technology is real and will emerge after we wipe out all these ridiculous coin companies. Bubbles have a lot of momentum. You just have to be smart enough to take your profits before it's too late, because bubbles grow more rapidly than bull markets, literally 2 to 3 times the rate, but they crash twice as fast as they grow. So when the bubbles burst, it happens very fast. So it is good to go with a bubble. And this is the second bubble, and it's actually the thing I'm telling people, it's actually tracing at a higher level the first bubble, and basically it peaked right in line with where the first bubble peaked after going up for about 5 years. So that was a good time to get out. Okay, so that would have been the best thing. You might have gotten out at 50 before, or 69 at the top, or you might have gotten out at 45 afterward. But anywhere there is going to look good when it ends up back where it started at 3,250 or so.
Harry also commented about the recent massive layoffs by tech companies. He exclusively talked about Amazon and how the present scenario is similar to the dot-com market bubble and burst. He also throws some light on gold and other stocks, stating that everything is bound to crash and this is not the right time to dwindle over whether to buy or not, and that it is best to let everything hit the bottom before starting to buy, and which according to him would be within the year. Let's listen to what he has to say about gold, Amazon, and other big companies.
You're aware many are now bullish gold. People who were bearish turning bullish, looking at the technicals of gold. Many feeling this is the year of gold. Have you had any change? Have you had a change? I guess you haven't had a change of heart when it comes to gold price.
Okay, what's the best analogy for this? 2008 was the first bubble and the first burst, and it did not go through like 29 to 32. It didn't erase the full bubble. Government stepped in and stimulated extremely hard and did it for 13 years until recently, okay? So they stopped the bubble from bursting, okay? So we have to go back and wipe out this bubble. Bubbles are not bad. They basically help launch a new sector and raise a lot of money for a lot of new companies. The point is, though, all those new companies can't make it. You have to shake them out. So this shakeout stage, which we're in and we'll be in for a few years, is important also. So you have to buy the winners at the bottom. And I'm going to tell you, Bitcoin's going to survive this. Ethereum, many companies, there might be 10 or 12 really solid companies that are going to survive this thing and have an incredible boom for the next 15 years. And that's what the dot-coms did. But most of those dot-coms, remember how many dot-coms there were? There was a dot-com for every name in retail possible. Dog.com, cat.com, whatever. And they all went under except the best ones. And the best ones then changed the economy. We're all online now. It's a giant industry now. So this is the way the economy works. There's nothing wrong with it. When people say this can't happen or not, they haven't studied history. I'm just looking at exactly what happened in the last bubble. And this has now clearly been a bubble of similar magnitude. Why would you expect anything else other than a 95% crash? Because that's what happened last time, including the leaders like Amazon. Everything's going down. Some companies just go down more than others. So the number one's the first sign. When we're getting towards a bottom here, let's say in mid-2024, and the NASDAQ is down enough to say we're near a bottom, like down 80 to 90% instead of 40 to 50 to 60, then you start like, okay, whichever company's held up the most. If a company, like say, is only down 80%, well, it did a lot better than the companies down 90. But you also always look for the companies with the strongest market share and dominant. Nobody is taking out Amazon, okay? Amazon is the biggest, most diversified retailer in all of history. It would have been the Sears of the 50s and 60s boom, okay? And so Amazon is going to survive. And for me, it's very simple. I'm not going to analyze 40,000 companies and down to the 1,000 that might survive this, or a couple hundred, and then pick the best one. That's too much work. I'm just going to buy the leaders and then look at how the stocks have performed on the way down to maybe refine that. But it can be that simple. But if somebody said, what do I do? Okay, I'm going to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin in early to mid 2024, maybe late 2023, because I think if somebody said today you have to do it and can't change your mind, that would be what I'd say today. So just look at it and refine that in the future. But you don't have to be complicated about this. You can pick the best stocks. That's a lot of work. I'm looking at the whole world and all major sectors and countries. I don't have time to decide if Krypton is going to beat Bombaton, okay? I don't have time for that.
More than 66,000 workers in U.S.-based tech companies have been laid off in mass job cuts so far in 2023, according to a Crunchbase news tally, and the year is just getting started. That number includes PayPal's 2,000-person cut and Groupon's 500-person layoff announcements last week. Last year, more than 140,000 jobs were slashed from public and private tech companies as they were forced to confront rising inflation and a tumultuous stock market. The economy has come to reckon with a culture of overzealous hiring and soaring valuations, and startups are now forced to carry themselves through a frosty market as venture funding becomes barren. Harry Dent claims that this crash would bring new highs for real assets and will shake off the imposters. As already mentioned in the video, he is bullish on Bitcoin and Ether companies, very bullish on Amazon, and he sees these sectors doing well when the next bull run starts. Do you think a $780,000 Bitcoin high is possible? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. Thanks for watching.